All right, let's unlock the secret code to sounding like a total pro in your meetings.
Ooh, a secret code. I like that.
Yeah. We're diving deep into advanced phrasal verbs. Those tricky little phrases that can either make you sound amazing or completely off.
Yeah, they can be a real make or break situation, can't they?
Totally. And the thing is, they're everywhere in the business world, especially meetings. So we're going to decode them today.
It's interesting, isn't it, how phrasal verbs often have those subtle meanings that you just wouldn't get from the individual words?
Oh, absolutely.
Like they add this extra layer of nuance and, you sound more natural, more confident.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in a professional setting, I think it really gives you more credibility when you can use them correctly.
I've got a story about that, actually.
Yeah.
I once totally messed up jot down in a meeting.
Oh, no. What happened?
I ended up writing like this massive to-do list. It was crazy. Turns out I was just supposed to take a couple quick notes. But
oh, I see. Yeah.
I took it way too literally.
Ah.
So yeah, nuance is definitely key. Today, we're going through 12 of these power phrases, all about those important meeting moments.
It's amazing, isn't it, how these verbs can not only make you sound, well, impressive, but also help you navigate different situations more strategically.
Oh, for sure. Okay, let's jump into the first one. Bring forward.
Okay, bring forward.
Sounds simple enough, but is there something more to it than just like rescheduling?
Right, you're right. It's not just about changing the date. Bring forward actually suggests that you're proactively moving the meeting to an earlier time. There's a bit more urgency to it, maybe efficiency.
Got it.
And it can also give the impression that you're in control of the schedule.
Ah, I see.
A bit more oomph than a simple, let's move the meeting.
Exactly. So it's like, I'm on top of things. I value everyone's time. Bring forward is the way to go.
That's the idea.
Now, what about when you just have to cancel altogether? What's the pro move there?
Okay, well, instead of just saying cancel, which can sound a bit, I don't know, abrupt, we have the phrasal verb call off. Call off the meeting.
Call off.
It just adds a touch more formality, and it suggests that something unexpected came up.
Right, right.
It wasn't just a random change of mind.
So call off is the diplomatic way to break the bad news, like, sorry, but things happen. Okay, this next one sounds interesting. Draw up.
Draw up.
I'm picturing an artist with like a sketch pad or something.
I see your point. But in meetings, draw up has a much more, shall we say, official meaning.
Okay, so not just doodling.
Definitely not. Think legal documents, contracts, proposals, anything that needs to sound, important and formal.
Oh, so it's about creating something binding, official, the real deal.
Precisely. It elevates the language, right? Emphasizes the significance of the document being created.
I like it. Has a little gravitas, makes you sound like you mean business. Okay, on to the next one. This is one I use all the time. Wind up.
Wind up, yes. Classic way to end meetings smoothly. But let me ask you this. How do you see wind up as different from, let's say, end or conclude?
Good question. Wind up feels a bit more casual, more conversational, While end or conclude, they might come across as a little stiff in some settings.
You're absolutely right. You wouldn't use wind up to wrap up a very formal presentation, but it's perfect for ending a more relaxed discussion, I'd say.
Right. It's all about matching the tone. So wind up suggests things are coming to a natural close, not like a sudden stop.
That makes sense.
All right, bring on the positive vibes. Let's talk about look forward to.
Look forward to, always a good one. Essential for showing enthusiasm about future meetings or collaborations.
Right.
But even with a phrase as, I guess, simple as this one, there's a slight difference between saying, I'm looking forward to, and just, I look forward to.
Oh, interesting. I actually haven't thought about that. Is one more formal than the other?
Yes, exactly. I look forward to, without the am, it's slightly more formal, bit more concise too, often used in written communication like emails. Whereas I'm looking forward to has a more, how do you say, conversational feel to it.
Okay, that makes sense. Subtleties like that can really make a difference. All right, let's keep going. What other gems are hiding in this lesson?
Okay, let's see. Oh, this one is perfect for note takers. Jot down.
Jot down, yes.
Jot that down.
Though, as I learned the hard way, it's all about knowing when to use it, right? It's for quick notes, not for writing a novel.
Exactly. It's about capturing the key points efficiently, not trying to transcribe every single word.
Oh, yeah.
Like, imagine you're in a brainstorming session and someone says, hey, let's jot down some ideas. It wouldn't make sense for everyone to start writing, detailed paragraphs, right?
You're right. Context is key. Jot down for the quick stuff, not the epic saga. I'm ready for the next one. Hit me.
All right. How about one that might feel a bit ominous in a meeting sometimes? Run out of.
Ooh, yeah, run out of. That definitely gives me that sinking feeling like, uh-oh, we're hitting a deadline or maybe the budget's about to explode.
That's a great observation. It often does relate to either time or resources, and it does convey that sense of urgency. But you can use it strategically to, maybe refocus the team.
Oh, interesting.
For example, instead of saying we only have 10 minutes left, you could say we're running out of time, so let's really focus on those top priorities, the most important action items.
I like that. So it's not just about stating the obvious,
Yeah.
but motivating action. Very clever. Okay, what's next on our phrasal verb adventure?
Let's see, how about deal with?
Deal with.
Deal with. It's all about taking charge and tackling those issues head on.
Okay, so deal with sounds straightforward enough. It's about handling problems.
Yeah.
But is there something about it that makes it different from just saying handle?
That's a great question. You're right, it's about handling problems, but deal with has a more, I'd say, proactive, decisive sort of feel to it.
Right.
It implies that you're not just acknowledging the issue, but you're ready to, tackle it, come up with solutions.
It's like saying we got this
Yeah.
instead of oh no, problem. I like that proactive vibe. All right, what's next?
Okay, let's move on to one that's all about problem solving, finding solutions, figure
Figure out, yeah.
it out.
That's one I use all the time, even outside of meetings. But I'm sure there's a, more specific way to use it in a professional setting.
You're absolutely right. It's common in everyday speech. But in a meeting context, figure out really emphasizes that collaborative approach to problem solving.
Okay.
It suggests that you're not just looking for a quick fix, but you're looking for a really well thought out solution, something that involves everyone's input.
That's a good point. It's about working together to find that best approach. Wow, we've covered quite a few already. Do we have time for one more in this segment?
Absolutely. Let's talk about go over, which is all about making sure everyone is on the same page, clear on all the details.
Go over. Okay.
Go over it again.
I like that.
It's like that moment when you pause and you're like, okay, let's just make sure we all understand this.
Yeah. It's like a check-in to make sure everyone's on board.
Yeah.
Which I think can save so much confusion later on. I've definitely been in meetings where, we all thought we were on the same page, and then it turned out, nope.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
using go over really signals that you're being thorough, meticulous, which can build trust and confidence within the team.
It's like, okay, I'm not just going to rush through this. We're going to make sure everyone gets it. I like that.
Yeah.
So it's not just repeating info. It's about, making sure everyone understands and agrees. What's next?
All right, let's see. Oh, this one brings back memories of school days. Those stacks of papers, handout.
Handout. Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Like pop quiz time.
Maybe not a pop quiz, but definitely those handouts, yeah.
It's funny how those simple phrases can, take you back,
That's true.
But in a meeting setting, handout takes on a more professional tone, right?
Absolutely. It's all about distributing information efficiently, making sure everyone has what they need.
Okay.
Picture this. You're leading a training session. Instead of saying, I'm going to give everyone a copy of the presentation, you could say, I'm going to hand out copies of the presentation.
Right.
It just sounds more, streamlined, professional, like you've got it all under control.
I'm organized. I'm the boss. I like it. Speaking of being in control, this next phrasal verb sounds pretty authoritative. Look into.
Look into, yes. This one really suggests that sense of investigation and action. It's about going beyond the surface, really delving deeper into a topic.
So it's not just glancing at something. It's about actively, digging for info, seeking solutions. That's really valuable, especially when you're faced with a challenge that needs more than a Band-Aid solution.
Exactly. It demonstrates a commitment to finding the best possible outcome, which is, key for building credibility and trust with your team.
Wow, we've covered a lot of ground already. Before we move on to the final few, out of all the ones we've discussed so far, is there one that stands out to you as particularly powerful or maybe even underestimated in how useful it is?
That's a great question. I think one that often flies under the radar is run out of. It's not just about stating a lack of something, but it's about using that limitation as, a springboard for action.
Right.
It can really shift the energy of a meeting, create a sense of urgency without being too pushy.
That's a great point, actually. Sometimes I think we overlook those simpler phrases, but they can be so effective when used strategically.
Absolutely.
All right, let's tackle these last few phrasal verbs and see what other hidden gems we can find. What's next?
Okay, we've got point out.
Point out. Okay.
Point that out.
That one sounds pretty straightforward, like you're highlighting something specific, right? Is there something more to it than just saying mention, though?
You're right, it seems simple, but the key with point out is that you're directing attention to something important, noteworthy. It's not just casually mentioning a fact, it's about emphasizing why it matters.
So it's like, hey, pay attention to this. It's crucial to what we're discussing. Makes sense.
Exactly. Being deliberate with your language, making sure your message hits home.
Okay, on to the next one. Let's see. Put off. Oh, this is a classic. Maybe not for the best reasons, though.
You're right. Put off often gets associated with procrastination, right?
Yeah.
But when used correctly, it can be really valuable for, managing expectations and prioritizing tasks.
So it's all about being strategic with those delays, not just avoiding something, but like thoughtfully deciding to address it later.
Exactly.
Which, in a meeting where you need to focus on the most pressing issues first, that could be a good move.
Precisely. Being transparent about your reasoning, clearly communicating that revised timeline, that's what matters.
That's great. I'm already thinking about how I can use these phrasal verbs more effectively. Okay, what's next?
All right, we have rule out.
Rule out. Okay.
Rule it out. That one sounds pretty definitive, doesn't it?
Yeah, like when you're making a decision and you're like, okay, these options are off the table.
Exactly. It's about narrowing down the possibilities and focusing on the most viable solutions.
Got it.
Imagine you're brainstorming and someone suggests something that's, completely unrealistic. Instead of just saying, no, that won't work, you could say, I think we can rule that option out for now.
Ah, that's much better.
Right. It sounds more diplomatic, less dismissive, which is important for maintaining a positive and collaborative environment.
Okay, we're down to our last two phrasal verbs for this deep dive. What's next?
Let's explore sort out, which is all about, tackling those tricky situations, those sticky problems, and finding solutions.
Sort out. Okay, that one feels very action-oriented, like rolling up your sleeves, time to get things done.
You're right. It does convey that sense of action resolution. The key difference is that sort out often suggests a more complex or challenging problem, something that needs a really systematic approach to unravel.
So it's not just finding a quick answer, it's breaking it down, working through it strategically. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, we've made it the final phrasal verb. Drum roll, please.
And it is take on, all about embracing challenges, taking ownership.
Take on. Ooh, that sounds powerful, like you're stepping up and say, I got this.
Exactly. It conveys confidence, willingness to tackle a task or project head on. Like imagine your boss presents a new initiative, something that seems a bit daunting. Instead of hesitating, you could say, I'm happy to take that on.
Oh, I love that. Bold move.
Yeah.
But it shows you're not afraid of a challenge and that you're ready to contribute.
I like it.
Wow. We've covered so much ground. 12 powerful phrasal verbs. It's amazing how these small phrases can really make a difference in meetings. I feel like I've gained this whole new awareness of how those subtle phrases can really make a difference, shape the tone, make your communication more effective in those meeting moments.
It's true. What's fascinating to me is how they often capture a sense of action or a process that you wouldn't get with just a single verb.
Right.
They make your language more dynamic, more lively.
I'm already thinking about how I can slip these into my next meeting. But before we wrap up this deep dive, I'm curious, are there any other phrasal verbs that you find particularly useful in the workplace? Maybe some that are, tricky to master?
Ooh, tricky ones. Let me see. One that comes to mind is touch base.
Oh, touch base, yeah.
It's everywhere, especially in business, right? But it can be so vague sometimes, I almost feel like it's overused, like it's lost a bit of its impact.
I know exactly what you mean. It's that catch-all phrase for any kind of check-in, but it doesn't always have a clear purpose. So how can we use touch base more effectively, without sounding too casual or generic?
I think being specific is key. Instead of let's touch base next week, let's touch base next week to go over those marketing campaign results.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Adding that extra context, clarifying the intention, makes the follow-up much more productive.
Touch base, check. Any other phrasal verbs on your radar that you find either intriguing or challenging?
Another one I find interesting is iron out. It's often used for, resolving conflicts or disagreements, but I think it works well for, finalizing plans, getting those details sorted.
Iron out. Well, I like that. It's like you're smoothing out all those wrinkles, making sure everything's perfectly aligned.
Exactly.
It suggests that everyone's working together to get that best possible outcome. Wow, this has been such a valuable deep dive. We've uncovered 12 power phrases, all from our source material, and even explored a couple of bonus ones.
That's right, bonus round.
I feel like I've got this whole new toolkit now to, confidently navigate those tricky meeting moments.
It's been great exploring these with you. And, I hope our listeners are feeling inspired to try these out in their own conversations.
Yes.
Remember, language is all about practice and a little bit of experimentation, right? Don't be afraid to, test these phrasal verbs out.
Sure.
See how they feel in different situations.
And hey, even if you, stumble a bit, just laugh it off and keep going.
Exactly.
We all make mistakes.
We're all learning.
Even the pros.
Yeah.
To all our awesome listeners out there, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of advanced phrasal verbs for meetings.
Yes, thanks for listening.
We hope you learned something new today and are feeling ready to, level up your communication skills.
And remember, this is just the beginning. There's a whole world of language to explore.
Absolutely.
Keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, have fun with it.
Until next time, happy meeting.